Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Kim Shivler. I wrapped up my last video where we had created a Zoom meeting and also a Zoom webinar talking a little bit about the difference between the two. I have gone ahead and created a sample one for us to actually launch. So I'm going to now show you back in my Zoom here. I'm going to go ahead and start this webinar. I'm also going to show you in the blog post the screen that if I'm trying to get in, what I see that it's letting me know that the host hasn't started the webinar yet. So that's similar to the meeting. That's what people see if they're waiting. Now, when I start this webinar, and I'm opening it, and here I am. Now, if you notice, practice mode only. Attendees cannot join until you broadcast. So I'm actually looking over here at my second computer and it still shows waiting for the host to start the webinar. So they don't see anything yet. So this is my chance to check my makeup, make sure that my side here hasn't fallen over because it does sometimes, and that I don't have too many things behind me. All those little things I can just check, and then when I'm ready, I can actually start the broadcast. Now, what I see here, if I click on participants, I'm only going to see one for right now because, again, they're still hidden. But they will show up as attendees. They'll only show up here as panelists if I bring them up to panelists, if I promote them into the panelist area. And then here you've got at the bottom the area of polling. So if I had a poll, I could launch it here. And this is where I would show questions and I would see them. And if I choose to dismiss one, someone asks a question that I'm just really not going to answer, I can go ahead and dismiss it. You can see where questions are asked, answered, and dismissed. And then remember, I showed you that I had it set to where the attendees only see the answered questions. They don't see all of them. And sometimes it works out fine to let them see all of them. Know your audience. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, let's go ahead and broadcast. And you will see I am recording. I can stop that, pause that, etc. I'm going to go ahead and broadcast that. And the webinar is now broadcasting to everyone. So if I'm looking on my other screen, I'm actually seeing the webinar. This is true of all webinar software I have found. There's a short delay, anywhere from 10 to 20-second delay of what they're seeing and what you're actually saying. And if you're just in your office or room alone, you don't know that because you're not seeing what they're saying. But if you can watch yourself on the screen next to you, you will notice there's a slight delay. I always like to let people know that so that they know if they're asking questions, etc., it's taking me time to get back to them. It's the delay that I'm a little bit ahead of what they're going to be seeing. So what I now see, if I look at attendees, is this is my Kim user account. So I keep two because if I tried to log in as myself, it'd get all confused because I'm the host. I have a free account that I use to test for this, right? Now, you'll notice that people are asking, well, raising their hands. Then I can allow this person to talk. I can remove them. So if somebody's here, shouldn't be here, we can remove them. We can rename them. And I can promote them to the panelist. Now, it's not going to be really exciting because you're just going to be seeing me from the side, but you can see what it looks like. So now I've got my core video is up here. This is me. And then, she doesn't have her video on. And I've got the audio over there off right now. That's fine. See if the video. I would have to allow her to have video. Let's go ahead and allow that video to work. So the way I do that is I click down here and see here where it says this is on more on that participants row panel where you can see allow the panelists to start their video. So now over here I could start my video. Not very exciting, but what you can see here, so if I put us into gallery view, you've got me front on as the host and me over here as the panelist. And then I can also say somebody wants to come on and join for a few minutes, but then I just am going to put them back to attendee. So what you can see here is there's more flexibility with Zoom Webinar in working with your groups, and particularly if you're going to work with a large group, but it is quite a bit pricier. So that is the highlights or overview of Zoom Webinar. There are also, if you're going to play with Zoom Webinar, before you run a webinar, any webinar software, run through it yourself several times, just with you, get to know it, because as you see here, there's even more functionality. There are different options. I can lock the webinar. I can show the active speaker view, which I was doing, or the gallery view. There's just more options. You don't want that to be a surprise when you actually have people in the webinar. So what I recommend, anytime you're learning to do webinars, practice on your own, then a couple of friends, and then get a small group, and maybe even do a beta with 15 people, 20 people, 30 people, and see how it works, letting them know that, oops, we might accidentally break something, fall apart. I might accidentally stop it for everybody, that kind of thing, just so that you're comfortable with it, particularly before you're going to go and do a marketing webinar to 80, 100 people when maybe you're trying to actually engage them to become customers. We want those to go as smoothly as possible. I'm Kim Shivler. I'm going to end this webinar. I will see you next time. As always, if you have questions, ask them in the comments on this blog post. Talk to you soon. Bye.